No great mind has ever existed without a touch of madness. Anybody can become angry, that is easy, but to be angry with the right person, and to the right degree, and at the right time, and for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power and is not easy. My best friend is the man who, in wishing me well, wishes it for my sake. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but we rather have those because we have acted rightly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest victory is over self. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. You will never do anything in this world without courage. It is the greatest quality of the mind, next to honor. Both oligarch and tyrant mistrust the people, and therefore deprive them of their arms. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. All friendly feelings toward others come from the friendly feelings a person has for himself. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. Courage is the first of human qualities, because it is the quality which guarantees the others. A friend to all is a friend to none. No state will be well administered unless the middle class holds sway. A poet's object is not to tell what actually happened, but what could or would happen either probably or inevitably. For this reason, poetry is something more scientific and serious than history, because poetry tends to give general truths, while history gives particular facts. It is impossible, or not easy, to alter by argument what has long been absorbed by habit. Friendship is a single soul dwelling in two bodies. Suffering becomes beautiful when anyone bears great calamities with cheerfulness, not through insensibility but through greatness of mind. We make war that we may live in peace. We praise a man who feels angry on the right grounds, and against the right persons, and also in the right manner at the right moment, and for the right length of time. A common danger unites even the bitterest enemies. Men acquire a particular quality by constantly acting in a particular way. Where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. It is absurd to hold that a man should be ashamed of an inability to defend himself with his limbs, but not ashamed of an inability to defend himself with speech and reason, for the use of rational speech is more distinctive of a human being than the use of his limbs. We must no more ask whether the soul and body are one than ask whether the wax and the figure impressed on it are one. Happiness is the settling of the soul into its most appropriate spot. He who has overcome his fears will truly be free. With respect to the requirement of art, the probable impossible is always preferable to the improbable possible. The so-called Pythagoreans, who were the first to take up mathematics, not only advanced this subject, but saturated with it. They fancied that the principles of mathematics were the principles of all things. The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger, since there are few things for which he cares sufficiently, but he is willing, in great crises, to give even his life, knowing that under certain conditions it is not worthwhile to live. Happiness is activity. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. The aim of the wise is not to secure pleasure, but to avoid pain. It is not once nor twice but times without number that the same ideas make their appearance in the world. A friend is a second self, so that our consciousness of a friend's existence makes us more fully conscious of our own existence. Those who educate children well are more to be honored than they who produce them, for these only gave them life, those the art of living well. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Criticism is something we can avoid easily by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. In all things of nature there is something of the marvelous. The worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. The only stable state is the one in which all men are equal before the law. It is also in the interests of the tyrant to make his subjects poor. The people are so occupied with their daily tasks that they have no time for plotting. At his best, man is the noblest of all animals, Separated from law and justice, he is the worst. All who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of youth. To write well, express yourself like the common people, but think like a wise man. Between husband and wife, friendship seems to exist by nature, for man is naturally disposed to pairing. What we have to learn to do, we learn by doing.